All right, welcome to this week's Points and Miles report here on Traveling on Everyday Spend. Excited to be with you and to go over the news of the week that you need to know. I do want to first thank each and every one of you that have supported the channel by watching the live streams, whether it's live or afterwards, and the videos. It's been really helpful to the channel for growth. And if you find any of the information in this live stream or in the videos beneficial, please consider subscribing to the channel. Doesn't cost you anything, but it would mean a great deal for me and this channel. And I want to thank you in advance. As always, I want to be respectful of you and your time, so let's go ahead and get started. Every week, we always have new information, but that is definitely always the case when we are talking about the beginning of each month. So let's look at the agenda for today. As far as the agenda, we're going to talk about the September credit card intro bonus offers, September transfer bonuses, September points and miles opportunities. Then we'll move on to the Southwest Companion Pass, which has a 2-month period for this particular promotion that ends today. So that's why I made it essentially one of the first topics. Then free food and rides for teens in September that you need to look at if you've got one and related to your Uber account. Then we're going to talk about choice privileges, devaluing the preferred hotels, unfortunately, again. Then we're going to look at the US Bank Smartly card, which is on waitlist status right now. Then we're going to talk about IHG stays, but getting Jet Blue points. Then we've got Lufthansa's Miles and More for September, which has a lot of opportunities, especially if you're looking to go to Europe. We're going to look at the IHG stays with Miles and More, miles. That'll be interesting. And then lastly, we're going to look at the Flying Blue promo rewards for September. So let's go ahead and get started. So as far as the credit card intro offers, we still have the Amex Gold for November through November 6th with 100,000 points plus 20% back on statement credits, where you can earn up to $100 related to restaurant purchases worldwide. That'll be for $6,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months, which is an excellent deal to be able to look at. We've got the Amex Platinum. I've seen that in the incognito mode at 150,000 points for $8,000 worth of spend in the first 6 months. Sometimes people have different links and such. I normally try to make sure of what you might be able to see in incognito mode to at least give you a feel of what's out there without referral links. But if you do find one and you're interested, not a problem. And then we have the Marriott Bonvoy Bevy, which we have until October 2nd, $250 annual fee, 155,000 points for $5,000 worth of spend on purchases for the first 6 months. We then also have the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant with that same October 2nd deadline, where you'll be able to get 185,000 points for $6,000 worth of spend on purchases in the first 6 months. As far as Capital One, we've got the Capital One Venture offer with that additional $250 worth of Capital One travel credit is slated to end September 9th. So if interested, don't wait till the last minute. That'll be on $4,000 worth of spend in just the first 3 months. And then we go to Chase, where we still have that Marriott Bonvoy Bold best offer ever. We don't have any dates on that, so we still have a little bit of time. So $60,000 worth of points plus a free night award at 50,000 points for just $2,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. The IHG One Rewards Premier Credit Card is slated to end shortly. I actually thought it was going to be today, but I still see it showing as of jumping onto this live stream. 5 free nights, 60,000 points per night with just $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. I'm a huge advocate of that card, and especially with that bonus, that is your lodging for a nice trip to a lot of different places with that 60,000 point value per night. Then, if you're not totally interested in that, you have the IHG One Rewards Traveler Credit Card with no annual fee, providing you 100,000 IHG points with just $2,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. And then we still have the Southwest Business Credit Cards, which we look like, according to the points guide, September 17th at 9 a.m. is when that's going to end. Up to 120,000 points on either of the credit cards for the business credit cards with $80,000, 80,000 points with $5,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months, and 40,000 if you're able to spend $15,000 in 9 months. A lot of money, a lot to be, but if you've got the spend, interested in the companion pass, you can be able to work that. Then, as far as the Inc. Business Preferred, that is supposed to end today, but it is still showing on Chase's website as when I looked at that just before coming on. So, if you are still interested in that 120,000 points on $8,000 worth of spend, don't wait much longer. You need to go ahead and pull the trigger if they are interested. And then as far as the Ink Unlimited, we've got 90,000 points or $900 for $6,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Now, I listed this as an in-house offer, but that has changed over the last 36 to 48 hours. Now you can actually see it on Chase's website with no referrals, no targeted offers. It shows up as a $900 slash 90,000 point offer for the Ink Unlimited. I've got the preferred, I have the unlimited business cards, and it really, those two alone, even at their normal ones, essentially covered almost all of my all inclusive Hyatt hotel stay during last year. So those cards really provide a big bang for your buck, and as well as the in cash, especially when you're talking about no annual fee for business cards. And I know business cards are not necessarily for everybody, but if interested, I'll put some links for just some of the credit cards. And but don't feel like you have to have an LLC or a profitable business to be able to do this. It can just be a strong thought that you have of something that you want to make money, and as long as you've got a good credit score, you've got a chance of being able to get a business card. Then lastly, we've got the World of Hyatt Business Credit Card with up to 75,000 points. Not, as I've said before, not a card that have any interest in getting, but I could see where some people might look to get that if they're going to do a lot of spend and a lot of Hyatt stays. But I look to those Ink Unlimited in cash ones to really bring in some points. And then as far as Citi, a couple of items. We've talked about the Citi Advantage Platinum card, where it's a nice option for American Airlines. No initial annual fee for the first year, $99 after that, 75,000 American Airline miles for just $3,500 worth of spend in the first 4 months. And then you have the Citi Strata Premier, which continues to be at 75,000 points for $4,000 worth of spend in the first 3 months. Wells Fargo, we still have our Choice Privileges cards. If you're those road warriors that are going to the Chase hotels, this could be one of those cards could be a very good option for you at a no annual fee card, as well as the Select MasterCard at $95 annual fee. And then for Barclays, we still have the Hawaiian Airlines Business MasterCard that is now up to 70,000 Hawaiian miles available in two pieces, 60,000 miles for $2,000 worth of spend in the first 90 days. And then you have 10,000 after a purchase is made by an employee card within 90 days of membership. Obviously, with the Hawaiian and Alaskan Airlines merger, we don't necessarily know how long these cards or if these cards will even still exist. But if you're interested in Hawaiian miles, this might be a good option for you. So we move from that to the September transfer bonuses, but I want to first thank Xavier for stopping in. Really appreciate it. Matt, thanks so much. Good evening to you, sir. Great tidbits, provides a lot of news on credit cards on a more daily basis. And then we have John. Really appreciate you stopping in. John's got a great channel as well, providing his perspective on credit cards. So really appreciate all of the guys being able to stop in. Really appreciate it. And then we got the September transfer bonuses. We don't have a whole lot of transfer bonuses with Aer Lingus, British Airways, and Iberia at 30% through September 30th. Hilton, 30% through September 30th, both through Amex. And then Capital One has the Air France KLM transferred for 20% September 29th. Obviously, none of these are groundbreaking. But if you are planning a travel and that would be a nice sweetener on top if interested or if needed, but definitely not something that you have to rush out for. Then we've got a lot of September points, miles, purchases, opportunities to go over. The first one we have is Qatar. That's going to run through September 8th, and that could be up to as much as 50% bonus on your purchase. If you purchase 3,000 to 15,000 avios, you get 20% bonus. 16,000 to 34,000 avios gets you 40%, and then 36,000 to 250,000 avios will get you 50%. And at 50%, that'll get you at a 1.53 cents per point compared to what some people might believe that the avios are worth 1.25. Now, as I use that, and I always let you all know that when I'm talking about cents per point, it's really just to give you a baseline of what people view it's valued. But each of you have to determine your value for that, really depending upon the travel that you're doing and when, because it can mean so much more in so many different cases. Now, you do have to have at least one Avios in your account to purchase Avios. So keep that in mind. And you can buy, gift, or even transfer up to 250,000 Avios per year on this. So at 50%, if you've got plans for Qatar to fly that, or you're going to look at moving Avios, because obviously they're so versatile between Iberia, Aer Lingus, British Airways, Qatar, and Finnair. There's a lot of options to be able to do with Avios, but not something necessarily, once again, that is breaking the bank. So if it works for you, excellent. Then we have the Air Canada Aeroplan, which is an interesting one. Now, this supposedly can go up to 80%, and I went into my account, and I do see 80% in 99% of times out of 100. I never have the access to the highest percentage offered. So if I'm seeing 80%, probably most of you all are seeing 80%. So 4,000 to 10,000 points of Aeroplan gets you 50%. Then purchase 15,000 to 20,000 points will get you 60%. And then lastly, anything over 25,000 points is going to get you 80%. And that would actually bring you to 1.4%, 1.4 cents per point versus 1.5, which is actually even better than what people normally will value it at. Now, the limit is 1 million purchase points per year and 500,000 points per transaction if you were looking to do that. So to give you a quick example of what something may look like, if you were to purchase 120,000 points or miles, Air Canada Aeroplan miles, you would get 102,000 points as bonus. So that's totaling 222,000 miles, Aeroplan miles. Now that would cost you approximately $3,100 based upon the Canadian dollar. But did you know that for 210,000 points, it would allow you to fly round trip on Lufthansa first class between US and Europe, and the cost of the ticket's normally about $7,000. So it's those kind of examples, if it is what you're looking at, that purchasing miles or points could be a great deal, not necessarily speculative, but if you know you have a plan of something you want to do in mind, purchasing miles when they're discounted can be a possibility. Then we have JetBlue, True Blue, which has been out there for a bit. 3,000 or more points will get you 125% bonus, which is valued at 1.43 cents per point. Maximum purchase is 150,000 points in a transaction with a calendar year max of 200,000. JetBlue is a fixed value awards program, so it's a bit different, but there could be some opportunities for you if you're a person looking to fly JetBlue, that number could work out for you. Now, be careful. Chase and City are 1-to-1 when it comes to JetBlue, but Amex is 1-to-0.8. So if you have your options, you're going to lean towards transferring Chase and City, but we all know Amex can really accumulate a lot of points. So in some cases, it may be best for you to be able to look at Amex if you've got a lot of points and you're looking to do something with JetBlue. And then we go to leading hotels of the world. We've talked about this for Leaders Club. This runs through September 27th. If you purchase at least 2,000 points, you'll get a 50% bonus. And if you purchase at least 30,000 points, it's a 100% bonus. Maximum purchase is 50,000 points before the bonus. So 100,000 points would cost you $6,000. The only transfer partner with leading hotels, which is a set of boutique slash luxury hotels. I believe it numbers about 400 hotels. So if that's something to look at, Citi is a 5-to-1 transfer partner, but they're the only ones that do it. So might be something to kind of take a peek at, familiarize yourself with their hotels and see if there's something that is of interest. But once again, not something super groundbreaking, but could be something that would be a good bargain for you if you were looking to pay cash at one of their hotels. Then we have Hilton Honors, which has been extended. Now we're looking at September 24th for Hilton Honors. And just by purchasing 5,000 points or more, you qualify for a 100% bonus. So maximum purchase is 235,000 points, which would get you 470,000 points during the promotion. Be careful that if you're a new member, you may have to wait 30 days if there's activity, or 90 days if you have no activity in your account. So the window is kind of short if you're just becoming a Hilton member. So once again, it's not the first time that they've offered 100%, probably won't be the last. But once again, if you're looking to do something with Hilton, and as much as they've kind of expanded their offerings, maybe something that you could be looking at a flat rate cost of half a cent per point. Then as I put up for, Spirit's program through September 13th, you can get up to 60% bonus on your purchases if you get up to 40,000 miles or more. Main thing I wanted to put this up on here for was because they don't have any transfer partners. So if you're a person that flies Spirit and are interested, this may be something to help with a top off or something. And then for our final page, we've got Eva Air Infinity Mileage Lands. That's a lot to put in there. So now be careful with this. They have an early bird special through that ended to this morning. They did 45%. I'll still have the link there for it. Sometimes they get extended a little bit, but it was at 45% through noon, 11:59 a.m. this morning, and then they go down to 30%, and that runs through September 20th. But I'll have the link for this one in the notes after the show. You can purchase any number of points to earn the 45% or the 30%. So there's no minimum. The maximum purchase of points per year is 150,000, and the purchase miles are valid for 36 months. So that's something to keep in mind. Fuel surcharges are also added to their reward flights, which is not ideal. And then lastly, which is a very interesting one I've never seen on some, but you all may have seen something like this. You cannot book an award flight where more than 50% of the miles that you're using are purchased. I've never seen that kind of distinction, which doesn't seem that beneficial for anybody, but that is something specific, and the only time I've seen it with Eva Air. Now, you do have two transfer partners, Citi at a 1-to-1 and Capital One to the 4-to-3. So something to look at for that. As far as what you can be able to do with these miles, some of the high quality uses include around the world tickets, business class between US and Europe at 65,000 miles per passenger, as well as some transcontinental business class in the United States for 29,000 miles per passenger. So there's a lot of different other options as far as open jaws, a couple of stopovers, or booking one-way awards. So there is some pluses to it, but definitely investigate on this because they do tack on those fuel surcharges. And if you haven't earned the points, then obviously buying them could be a problem when you try to use it. And then we've got Finnair Avios with a deadline of September 18th at 4:59 in the afternoon Eastern time. Now, this one can go up to 50% bonus. If you purchase between 5,000 and 49,000 Avios, you'll end up having 30%. And then 50,000 to 200,000 miles will get you 50%, which ends up being 1.55 cents per point. Now, it may take up to 3 days for these to get to your account, so be patient on that. And then two, Capital One is a one-to-one related to Finnair, but obviously the Avios programs, as we talked about, are widely spread around all of the different credit cards that are available. Now, when it comes to Finnair, a couple of things to keep in mind that I probably have mentioned before is that the good deals with Finnair are clearly when you're going to Finland, where you could be looking at the chart and be looking at 62,500 Avios for a one-way business class from the U.S. East Coast to Finland, which can be really well. And then the other part that I think I've mentioned before is that within the United States or domestic, when it's kind of a little bit longer haul, I believe it's at 11,000 or some odd Avios, where they become the better choice for certain distances that they compare to British Airways or the other ones. So take a look at that. Make sure that there's not something that is of interest. Once again, not necessarily groundbreaking, but might fit for what you're looking at. Uh, and I see that Matt talked about I need Wells Fargo to add JetBlue. Uh, yeah, I think we all need to see Wells Fargo start adding some more people to this transfer partner list. I think I'll speak for myself. I was excited that when they just kind of started the initial ones, I just thought that we were going to start seeing more of the transfer partners come up. Maybe some of those ones that we see in Built was going to be an easy transition, and at least kind of give us a little trickle over a period of time. Unfortunately, that has not been the case, and I was a little bit too optimistic. But they're going to have to do something because they've got some popular cards now. People are going to want to start seeing some more transfer partners to make them even more competitive. So it's going to be something we'll all keep our eye on. Now, for this topic, this is the Southwest Companion Pass for the 2 months. They are running a promotion. It's a limited time companion pass, and they do this twice a year. So this is not something that if you don't get in on this, then you'll never see it again. So be patient for that. This is round 2 of the 2 times that they do it per year. So registration was from Tuesday to today at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So this window is still open. Upon registration, you need to be able to book 1 round trip or 2 one-way flights. Doesn't matter where they're at. And you have to book that travel to be done by November 20th of 2024. Now, what do you get by registering for this program? If you go ahead and book that 1 round trip or those 2 one-way flights and get that travel done by November 20th, you will be given a companion pass for you to use from January 6th through March 6th of 2025. Now, of course, the member that registered and for this, it has to be one of the people on the flight, but you're still going to be able to have your partner, your companion, your player 2, your best friend, be able to have multiple people that are able to get on that. I believe it's up to 3, but that's from what I've seen on that. Now, keep in mind the flights. If you have flights that are already booked for the registration period through November 20th, you will need to cancel and rebook those to be able to get that qualification. You're not going to be able to register that after the fact. And if you've already got that booking, it won't count. And then if you have travel with you and another person that will occur between January and March, this could be a very good deal because it's unlimited usage through those 2 months. And then, as I mentioned before, you can change that companion up to 3 times. So it doesn't have to be the same person. It just has to be the same registered person that is part of that. So definitely keep that in mind. And I'll make sure as soon as I get this, we're done with the live stream, I'll make sure to have a link for it so that you have enough time if you are interested and if this fits for you. And then for topic 5, free food and rides for your teens in September. This is an Uber deal that is something to note if you've got teenagers. Unfortunately, I've gone way past that. My son is over 30 at this point. But for you that might have teens, so Uber is providing new teen account users with a free month of rides and food through the month of September. Now, the first step is you just need to be able to add your teen to your Uber account. And then once the account is set up, your teen can now make claims for the free trips and meals. And this isn't small. For the rides, you can have up to 6 rides. Your teen can have up to 6 rides with each ride capped at $20, but you can have anything up to 6 for the month of September. You can also have Uber Eats orders up to 6 with each order capped at 20. So you're talking about $240 that are potentially out there for your teen, which should be very easy for him or her to use. Now, taxes and fees will still apply, but the deal is only available to teens who are new teen account holders who have never ordered or taken a ride with an Uber teen account. It's fine if they've taken it on your account or someone else's account, but not on an Uber teen account. As far as to keep in mind, there is nothing to say. It's a no-brainer. If you have a teen, you might as well do it. We're early in the month. They can really get the full use of this to be able to do that. And I will make sure to have that all listed for you to be able to do that. There's no registration that's required for this. You just need to sign them up on your account. So something to definitely keep in mind and to look forward to. And then for topic 6, we've got choice privileges, which is unfortunately devaluing preferred hotels again, which has been a very nice sweet spot for them until the last few months. So as far as preferred hotels, it's a collection of independent properties that are mostly boutique and luxury. Now, it represents a category that obviously is not really what Choice is built on, which has made it a nice spot. Then, more importantly, it represented good value because you were able to do it for between 20,000 and 55,000 points up until a little while ago, which got a lot of mileage for those choice points. Now, things took a turn for the worst, unfortunately, in June, and we started seeing 55,000 point locations go up to 87,000 points. Now, it didn't spread to every single one, but we saw a lot of that at the upper end. And then, per frequent miler, we're now seeing they caught it. We're seeing those 87,000 point locations going all the way to 118,000 points, which obviously you're talking about something that went up over nearly over 100 and some odd percent in just so many short months. So as far as thoughts, it's an unfortunate trend that we're seeing in such a short period of time for that. Now, the one thing to keep in mind is that this is not to say that every 55,000 point location went to 87,000 and then to 118,000. In addition to the devaluation of preferred hotels, we've also seen them devalue their own choice hotels with the points. They've been in excess value, but a lot has been lost. But I would still encourage you, if you have either been to one of their preferred hotels or are interested in looking at, there are still some spots potentially for you that can still represent very good value, but the greater picture doesn't look as good as it used to. So I just wanted to point that out for you all, especially if you're looking at choice hotels. And we got James in there. Appreciate the kind words, James. I really appreciate you stopping in. It's greatly appreciated. Really like to be able to do these weekly rundowns to make sure everybody's up to speed. So thank you so much. And thank you to Mad Cup. Thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it. So let's talk about the US Bank Smartly card. It's a 4% cash back, but with a big catch, because obviously something can't be 4% unless it is a big catch. So, US Bank is launching this card. Right now, there's a page to join the wait list, which I'll have a link for in the description at the end of the show. So, everybody can get 2% on that Smartly card, which is obviously not that exciting. But you can boost it up to 4%, which might be a little bit more exciting, but in certain cases. So, what does it take? Well, you need to pair the card with the US Bank Smartly savings account and have an average daily combined qualifying balances across your US Bank deposits, trust accounts, and investment accounts. Now, the way they scale it is you go from 2% to 2.5% if you have a balance with them that are between $5,000 and $49,000. You can get to 3% if it's qualifying balance from $50,000 to $99,999. And then you can reach 4% if your qualifying balance is of $100,000 or more. Now, the good thing is that you only do have to have $25 in this Smartly account, which I believe they're looking at is 4.1% savings return on it, which is not the most ideal. So, because you only have to have a small dollar amount in it, does still make it attractive. So, this is obviously becoming a competitor to Bank of America, where with a $100,000 deposit, you could be at 4% cash back. And if you're with 4% cash back with US Bank. And then if you're with Bank of America, you could be, I believe it's 5.25. I have to look. It's their one card that they have that really kind of jumps it up. Now, and I'm a person that banked with US Bank a while back ago, but I don't have any of their credit cards. And for Bank of America, I don't really have anything with them either. I'm sorry, I do have the Alaska business credit card, but that's it. Now, I believe from what I was looking at that you're not going to have any restrictions for 4% with US Bank, but there are some category restrictions when you get up to that 5.25 cash back through Bank of America. Now, this is a small item, but probably will not impact most people. If you have that Smartly card and if you have 12 consecutive statement cycles with no earnings or redeemings, you lose everything. You lose every point you've accumulated. So this is the definition of do not sit on your cashback dollars with this trying to save it up, because do not be that person that loses everything because you did let it sit. So that is something, like I said, I'll have a link for the wait list. I'm definitely not a person that has that kind of money. So it's not a card that I'll be interested in or looking at as a 2%er. There's just too many other ones out there that I can be able to easily transfer to either use cash back or I could use points. But if this is something that might fit for you, might be something to take a look at. And I see that James brought up, I got a Savor one after watching a video. It's been 4 months and it's been going great. Really appreciate. No, I really appreciate it, James. It's definitely, and I'm a person that has I still need to get the Savor. I haven't even gotten it yet because unfortunately I have to only trade, exchange my venture to get that. And I've not been prepared to do it yet. And I'm trying to hold off a little bit to see if I can just get the card. But typical Capital One, it's not always the easiest to be able to swing to get another card. But I'm glad that worked out for you. I think it's a great option for people that may not necessarily want to go through the credit process of the American Express Gold, which I still do have because I like my Amex miles in moving it to Delta. So thank you so much for bringing that up. So for topic 8, we got IHG stay and for Jet Blue points. Now this one you all may have known a lot about. I was not really aware. So instead of earning IHG points for being at an IHG, you can actually earn Jet Blue points staying at IHG. Now it's a significant difference, but I've never looked at my settings to even know this existed. But here's a promotion that might appeal to some people. So the current promotion is offering up to 3,000 bonus points per stay. So if you change your settings to from IHG to JetBlue, and you have one or a 2 night stay, you'll get 1,000 bonus points. And if you stay 3 or more nights, you'll get a 3,000 bonus points. Now, like I said, you need to change those settings before you would try to be earning those bonuses and such. So there is a registration. You do need to register for the offer. I'll have a link for that in the show notes. Now, this is for stays between September 4th and November 30th. Now, this bonus is in addition to the 2x earnings that you get at that applies at most IHG properties. Now, when it comes to Candlewood, Staybridge Suites, you'll only earn 1x of JetBlue on those hotels, and at the Venetian Las Vegas and Macau, it's only 500 points per stay total. Now, the maximum JetBlue points you can earn on the promotion is 15,000 points, so it's not a gigantic amount, but it might be something in a short window to rack up some points, and if you got a lot of travel, might be something that fits. So the qualifying nights, of course, must be paid bookings. Now, be careful if you're going to do this promotion that if you check in and out of the same hotel on the following day, it will not count as a separate stay. And so, of course, you would want to be able to do that when it's 3 or more nights. You'd ideally like to just stay the 3 nights to get to the 3,000 points, and then hopefully another IHG hotel if you're going to be staying longer to another hotel to continue getting that next group of 1 to 3,000 points. You do have to allow up to 6 weeks for the points to hit your account. So it's not something that's going to happen quickly for this. So that is an option for IHG stays. And like I said, I'll have that in there. Now, the Lufthansa Miles and More, we talk about this at the beginning of each month, but there are always some nice options there, but some things that we always have to be concerned about. So as far as the program, it's a regular promotion offering discounted redemptions for flights on Austrian, Brussels, Eurowings, Discover, Lot Polish, Lufthansa, and Swiss. It is all part of their conglomerate. Now, these bookings must be made by September 30th of 2024, and it's valid for travel between December 15th, 2024 and January 31st of 2025. There are a lot of opportunities and not just in economy. So let's kind of hit a few of these. So for business class, they have, looks like they have up to 93 options. And these are for 55,000 miles round trip for business class. So you've got Boston going to numerous European cities, flying under Swiss. You can fly out of Chicago to 91 different airports in Europe under Swiss. And then you have JFK to Brussels on Brussels Airlines. So that's kind of the window that you have. And on the link for the registration, you'll be able to see details of all of these options for you to be able to further explore. And then as far as premium economy, we're seeing 99 offerings. And for premium economy, it's a 40,000 mile round trip. And that's from Boston, Los Angeles, Miami, and JFK. And those flights are going to be on Austrian, Brussels, Lot Polish, as well as Swiss. So premium economy has a lot of options as well if that window of time from December 15th through January 31st is a good option for you. Now, economy, there are 212 deals from the United States. And round trip and economy under this promotion is only 30,000 miles round trip. Now, the options, Boston, Charlotte, Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, JFK, New York, San Francisco, and Dulles and DC. Now, those options are going to be flying Brussels, Lot, Polish, Lufthansa, or Swiss. Now, as far as a couple of further information, Charlotte has flights to 113 different airports flying Lufthansa. San Francisco has 91 different airports flying Swiss, and DC has 6 cities that are going to be flying on Austrian. Main things to keep in mind, though, because not every good thing doesn't have some downside. The flights cannot be canceled for refund. So you have to know that this is what you want to be able to do. Earning Lufthansa miles are always going to be difficult because we don't have direct transfer partners. So we have the Barclays Miles and More World Elite MasterCard. And I went on their site actually today and I saw that number at 80,000 welcome bonus miles. Normally I've seen that at 50,000. They don't say it's a limited time offer, but to get those 80,000 welcome bonus, it just requires $3,000 worth of spend in purchases plus the annual fee to pay for in the first 90 days. So doing that and accumulating that for 80,000 miles can get you that round trip business class flight or anything underneath that. But make sure if you're going to look at this, taxes and fees can be very expensive. So you'll have to see if the point redemption is going to be worth it to you for the versus the taxes and fees that you pay for to see if it represents a good deal for you. But that is the Lufthansa Miles and More, and there might be some spots for you. Now, topic 10, I talked about IHG stay for JetBlue. Well, surprise, if I didn't know about JetBlue, I didn't know about Lufthansa as well. So you can actually change your settings and get Lufthansa Miles and More. And so they also have a promotion. So the current promotion is you can earn 5x miles on your stays at IHG hotels and resorts. Now, this one is through December 31st, I believe. I've got November 30th. I'll make sure to make a notation in the pinned comment to make sure of if it's November 30th or December 31st. I apologize. Now, once again, you'll need to change your setting to miles and more. Now, you do need to register for this offer by November 30th. I'll have a link for that. Now, the 5x earnings rate will not apply at all IHG properties like we talked about the last one, where Candlewood and Staybridge will only be 1x, and the Venetian, Las Vegas, and Macau is only 500 miles per stay. Once again, the maximum miles you're going to be able to get out of this is 15,000. And once again, it may take up to 6 weeks to get those points into your account. Qualifying nights must be paid bookings. As far as thoughts, obviously miles more are difficult to get. So if you see that there's a window here where maybe you're a person that does not do IHG a lot and you don't have the credit cards that get the high multipliers, and you might see that you need a little bit to top off on miles and more, this may be something that fits. But unfortunately, with that low number on the promotion at 15,000, it's not the most enticing, but once again, might be something for a top off that can be able to help. And then we've got Flying Blue Promo Rewards. And this is another monthly program that has some slight similarities to the Lufthansa program. And so for September, there's a lot of opportunities. As I mentioned, it's a regular promotion offering discounted redemptions for flights to Europe. Bookings must be made by September 30th of 2024, but you do have all the way till February 28th of 2025 to be able to have that travel done. The rewards are applicable in either direction, whether it's from North America to Europe or Europe to North America. Now, as far as the long haul deals that are offered, and these go from 15,000 miles for economy, we've got 25% off on all of these. And so we've got Air France from Newark to Europe, Air France from JFK to Algiers, Air France Phoenix to Europe, Air France from Dulles to Nairobi. Then you have KLM for both Las Vegas to Europe and Dulles to Europe. Then you have a premium economy option from Montreal to Europe on Air France and a business class Air France from Ottawa to Europe. So even if you're in the United States, you might see that a repositioning may be worth it to fly to that location to be able to take advantage of that deal. Now, the long haul deals that are offered, and I won't necessarily go over every single one of them, but because some of these locations, I am not sure where they're at in Europe. But you've got ones that are from Cayenne and Mauritius, I think it is, to Europe on Air France. Then you got Beijing, Dammam, Daran/Daran, Hong Kong, Riyadh, Shanghai going to Europe. And then you've got business class from Cairo and Bogota to Europe. So once again, those start at 15,000 miles for the economy, but that might be an option. And the link that I'll have for you on this will once again show you all of the details and options that are available for this program. And then you've got, if you're in Europe, you've got a lot of short and medium haul ones that are at the 25% off of the flights. So this is Paris and Barcelona, Bastia, Bordeaux, Montpellier, Milan, and Munich on Air France. And then you got KLM for Amsterdam, Bologna, Prague, and Stockholm. Now, these promo rewards, like I said, are offered regardless of the direction you're going. And Flying Blue has a lot of transfer partners from Amex, Bilt, Brex, Capital One, Chase, Citi, and Wells Fargo. So there's a lot of different opportunities to be able to transfer points. And we obviously also talked about the transfer bonus that was being offered for Air France KLM. So put those two together, and it could be an excellent potential offer or deal for that. So that kind of covers the items that I've got, and just want to make sure if there's any questions or anything to be able to answer, be more than happy to. And I see James. Oh, it's your. Oh, well, that's good. That is a great first card to be able to get, James. I wish I was more attuned than I wish I was better back in my day than as well as you're doing. My first cards were just buying was getting any and every card that doesn't even exist anymore. So wasted a lot of slots and such. So, but I just wanted to make sure to say that. Great to hear. But if there's no questions or thoughts, I want to thank each and every one of you all for stopping in. Really look forward to this, and I will get this chopped up into chapters and be able to get this with the links, especially those ones that are ending today. Get that up to you as soon as I can, and I'll send out another notification to let you all know that it's up. So if you need to be able to get to those links. Thank you so much, and really appreciate you all being here, and have a great day.